Hi everyone, I'm CaliKim. Welcome to my garden. Today I'm going to share with you why your root vegetables aren't growing and what you can do to fix them. Now, root vegetables are a different animal and they march to a different drum. And if you don't implement the fixes I'm going to share with you today, they're not going to grow properly. This video comes in response to a question over on our community page. If you haven't yet, check it out. It's actually very fun. And Deb Boz asks, so I struggle with growing root crops, radishes, beets, carrots, and parsnips. If it's a root vegetable, I can't grow it. For instance, radishes take 30 days on average to grow and harvest, but I only get strings and green tops. So maybe some tips on root vegetable growing, especially since most of the garden is in shade right now. Let's go. One reason why your root vegetables aren't growing is because they're cool weather vegetables. They like temperatures under 75. In my 10-gallon smart pot, I have some radish seeds I planted about a week ago for our What to Plant in September video. And here we are in the hottest day of the year. It's supposed to be 107 degrees today. So when it's too hot, the radishes and root vegetables are going to focus on leafy growth, which looks really good right now, rather than on root development. And here you are, still planting them in the warm weather. That's like us going to the beach in December, getting in the water. My body's like, I ain't having it. The fix? Plant your root vegetables in cooler weather that's more favorable to root production. I spend a lot of time on weather.com looking at the historical weather patterns for my area. And when I see the temperatures are under 75 degrees, that's the best time to plant my root vegetables. So these radishes are definitely going to get replanted. For you northern gardeners, typically it's in the fall or early spring before the temperatures get too hot. For southern gardeners, we have to wait a little bit. The fall is not real good for planting root vegetables. The best time is typically in the winter time, November through March. What if you already planted and the weather is hot? Well, the good news is the tops are edible. You can eat them in your salads, and for these little tiny ones, you can just clip them at the base and eat them like microgreens and then replant in cooler weather. You might think that since root vegetables grow underground, they don't need full sun, but they actually do. They prefer full sunlight for full root development, but they will also grow well in partial sun. So the fix for this, grow them in an area that gets at least 4 hours a day for good root development. If you're in an area that they're getting plenty of sun, but it's too hot, you're not getting good roots. The fix for this, shade cloth. It blocks out a portion of the UV rays so your root crops don't get as hot. So here I've got some carrots growing in my 5-gallon smart pot. Drape it over my container to keep my carrots cooler in the heat. Should it get warmer than 75, what you need to do is put your container in an area with morning sun and afternoon shade so they don't overheat. Root vegetables grow best when they're direct seeded right in your containers or in your raised beds. So watch our What to Direct Seed in September video for all the details on that. And if you need seeds, head to our website. You can grab my carrot seed collection or my fall garden seed collection. And I always like to offer a discount because I know it really helps. So use the code FALLGARDEN for 25% off all my seed collections and CaliKim Smart Pots. Let's talk about soil for a moment. Is your soil rocky, clay, heavy, or just too dense? Well, that could be your problem. The roots are going to struggle to grow in heavy soil. They're not going to be able to grow down deep, and they're going to stay small. The fix? Grow in containers. Root vegetables grow perfectly in this CaliKim Smart Pot, and that way you can fill your container with nice, loose soil. There's no obstructions, no rocks in the soil, and you can just see how beautifully loose and fertile this soil is. Your carrots are going to face no obstructions and are going to be able to grow straight down into this soil. Now here I've got some beets we just planted a week ago. They're already popping up, and with soil like this, we're going to have absolutely beautiful beet roots in about 6 weeks. Now, besides growing in containers, root vegetables grow very well in raised beds because, again, you can control the soil that you're putting in your raised beds. It's a lot looser than your in-ground gardens, and root vegetables just do so much better in raised beds. But what you want to make sure you do with your raised beds is loosen the soil to about 12 inches down. And the cultivator tool works really well for that. Lots of worms in here, they're looking good. And if your soil in your raised beds is compacted, add a handful or two of compost because this will aerate your soil and make it nice and loose so the root vegetables have plenty of room to grow with no obstructions. Let me ask you a question. If I came to your garden right now and looked at your root vegetables, what would I see? Could they be nicely spaced apart or crowded together to fit more in? Well, that's reason number 4 why your root vegetables aren't growing, is overcrowding. We all want more heart, so the tendency is to plant close together to try and pack as much in as possible. And I get it, but the only problem with this is when plants are too close together, they're competing for water, air, nutrients, and most importantly of all for root vegetables, for space. When they're packed in too tight, the roots don't have room to grow. So the fix is thinning. What you need to do when your root vegetables start to grow, like my little carrots here, when they're a couple of inches tall, you want to snip them at the roots so they're only 2 inches apart. This way the roots have room to grow without running into other seedlings. It will give us a nice straight carrot with a good sized root. So what you need to do to have accurate spacing for your root vegetables is just check the variety that you're growing, and the larger the root is supposed to be, the more spacing you'll need. So generally speaking, about 2 to 3 inches for smaller varieties, about 3 to 4 inches for larger varieties of beets and carrots should be adequate. Don't be that gardener and fix your spacing for good roots. The next reason why your root vegetables aren't growing, and a lot of gardeners forget about this, is too much nitrogen. Now, in case you didn't know, nitrogen is the nutrient that causes lush, green, leafy growth. And when you're using a fertilizer too high in nitrogen, yes, you'll have lots of lush, green, leafy growth, but at the expense of your roots. So the fix for this is to use a fertilizer that has a low NPK, or a low nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And what I use is Vermistera Worm Tea. The numbers are nice and low. What it's going to do is provide a nice, slow, steady growth for your root vegetables, which is exactly what they need. And using a fertilizer low in nitrogen will help redirect the growth back into the roots. Now, Worm Tea provides a balance of nutrients and beneficial microbes. It improves the soil structure, aeration, and drainage, and it encourages deep root growth over excessive leafy growth like high nitrogen fertilizers. And that is exactly what we want. Inconsistent watering is another reason why your roots are not growing. Now, it's super, super important, because if your roots aren't watered consistently, you're not going to encourage the roots to grow down for good root development, and they're going to get stunted and just won't grow. So water them deeply, and what you want to do in your containers is water them until the water runs out the bottom. These drip trays are very handy for that, because it will catch excess water and then continue to soak up the water from the bottom so the soil is fully saturated. Now, you don't want to oversaturate or let them sit in water for too long, because this will cause root rot to your root vegetables. So once they've soaked up all the water from the bottom and the soil is a nice dark brown color, indicating it has plenty of soil moisture, you're going to dump the soil out from the tray so it's not sitting in water too long and causing root rot. The other really important thing is when your root vegetables are still germinating, critical that you keep the top of the soil moist in order for really good germination. So what I do for this to keep the soil nice and moist is either use a piece of shade cloth or a piece of burlap. Just drape it over your container or your raised bed, wherever you're growing, and then make sure you check it daily so your soil is nice and moist. You'll have great germination that way. Let me know in the comments which one of these is the reasons why your root vegetables aren't growing and what you're planning on doing to fix it. Thanks for watching. See you next time in the garden.